How's it going, everybody? We are here for our second episode of the themed Hot List from CBSI's own Ben C. If you have been checking out what's going on over on the site, we've added a bunch of new content, including this themed Hot List, which we're really very excited about. We kind of gave the inaugural one last week with Star Wars, which was a huge 25 book list. This week's is much shorter. I am here with the amazing Dollar Bin Digging's own Peter Renna, and I am Mike Morello of Cover Tunes, both of CBSI, and we are here to kind of go through sort of a small niche of comics, which I'm really excited about, and I've gotten really excited about these comics recently. I wasn't really aware of them, and they are the Alex Schomburg non-war airbrushed covers. Now, I think like most of us, Peter, probably you too, when we thought Alex Schomburg, we think Captain America instantly. Yeah. That's like the first thing that pops in your head. It's these classic sort of war, American versus Nazi kind of covers. There's the Fighting Yank covers. There's Miss Fury covers. There's some Green Hornet covers, and but mostly it's the Captain America stuff that he's most well known for. And then there's this small little group during a very specific time frame where he was doing these beautiful airbrushed, mostly good girl covers that if you look at any sort of main good girl list, you're going to find one or two of these pop up as being people's favorites. And I was completely unaware of them. And I probably, if I saw them, I wouldn't have even known they were Schomburg, mostly because they're not signed Schomburg. They're signed Zila or Alex backwards. So that's one thing that, I mean, if I just looked at it at a quick glance, I wouldn't just instantly think Alex Schomburg. And then of course they look so much different than everything else that he did, which were what you'd expect, the regular line drawing kind of stuff with, basic colors, just the sort of regular printing that one would expect from the golden age. So these really stand out. These stand out amongst other good girl art. They look like nothing else. If you're looking at Matt Baker stuff and you're seeing, Phantom Lady and Seven Seas and stuff, which are of course all gorgeous covers, these still look so different and have kind of a modern feel to them that most, really nothing else had during this time. And so this is a really exciting list for me because I'm personally very newly excited about these books. Again, as I said, Ben C did a great job putting this list together. These are by far the most sought after ones, and I think we should hop right into the first one. We're going to go backwards. We're going to start at 5 and come up, and then there's an honorable mention. So here we go. Alex Schomburg, non-war airbrushed Zila covers.
All right. Well, first up, we got number 5. Exciting Comics
so
number 62.
Exciting Comics number 62. And this actually is my favorite. I'm not sure if it's because it's the colors, it's the blue and yellow that I really like, or what it is, but of all of them, this is the one that pops to me the most. And I think I may have just secured a copy for myself today.
Really?
Oddly enough. Yeah, I found one for a decent price, and I think I've made the deal on it. So we'll see if that goes through. But this is the closest I had been able to come to grabbing one of these. And this is just a gorgeous piece. Obviously, there's some bondage happening here. You've got kind of the native thing in the background.
Yeah, the Raiders of the Lost Ark guys back there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Bovitos, I don't know.
With their little poison darts.
Yeah. We don't want to see them run the other way because there's no backs to those skirts.
Yes, right. She's got her little knife out, cutting herself out. Just a gorgeous cover. Again, this pops in a way that most other stuff during this time doesn't. And it's just, as Ben said in his article, it's a really balanced cover. You've got a really cool background, while you obviously have the main foreground girl, and just a beautiful sort of just understanding of the human body and the way to draw it right, and obviously in a sexy way, but not in a gratuitous one. But I think this cover could pass for a modern. You put this on a modern comic right now, and I think it sells out. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe I'm crazy, but
no, I think it would. This would be the hot variant of the week. You got like you said, it's completely like balanced. Like the trade dress is huge, but it doesn't look overly like overbearing. Like it fits nicely in the space with the blue and the yellow. Like it's gorgeous.
It is. And I think maybe because the colors are different than some of the others, which we're about to get into, because the next one, number 4, is a different color dress that we're all aware of these days. If you've been watching any of our stuff, Vintage Voyage, or any of the other stuff that we have been doing, we've Ben C coined the red dress distress. There it is.
Yeah,
a little post-it note. And this is probably the second most sought after of the Schomburg non-war covers, the airbrushed ones, because it's got everything. You've got bondage, you've got like menace, you've got red dress distress, you've got really eye-popping color, and it just, man, can you think of anything? I can't think of anything that looks like this from this era other than these covers. I mean, there just isn't anything that feels like this. By the way, this is Wonder Comics 15, if you can't read the little side note there. And this one does not pop up very often. I've had to search out for this for a while, and it doesn't. His most sought after one, which we'll obviously get to at number 1, does oddly pop up a little bit more often. This one doesn't seem to be as common for whatever reason. But keep in mind too, other than the number 1, these books in low grade can actually be had for a couple $100s. And in high grade, obviously, depending on how high the grade is, you're going to pay thousands, basically because they're golden age. I mean, anything in high grade golden age that's sought after is going to see big money. But these are actually relatively attainable books for those out there that may think, oh man, we're talking about, $5,000-$10,000 books here. We're not. These are not those kinds of books. They do not garner the same kind of prices that his Captain America books do. And so now may actually be the time to get in and get these. If these are popping for you and you like them, now may be the time to grab them. Like I said, I just grabbed one for a pretty decent price, that number 5, and I'm pretty excited about it. This one's on my list, but I haven't seen a decent copy to buy. So
no.
Dope Comics. What's up from Nashville? I am also in Nashville. I don't know if you knew that, but I am. He's saying, I'd say Fighting Yank is second. I always think of Captain America covers I'm not a fan of, but yeah, they are busy. And actually I brought a Captain America just to kind of to show. This is the only one that I have. Let's see.
I'll switch you over.
So this is obviously a very busy cover. It's clearly very Schomburg. It's got the war feel to it. It is, it's a great example of what he was doing during this era for Captain America. Dope Comics, I would say Fighting Yank is probably up there in the second. It depends on who you talk to. A lot of people really like those Miss Fury covers, although there are only a few of them. This is number 53. But I mean, it's almost impossible to decipher this number 53 from about 10 other covers from this run that look nearly identical to this. Not that I'm not proud to own it. It's not that. It's just that this is a very different style for Schomburg. It's almost amazing that this is the same guy. In my opinion. So
yeah, I mean, you look at the art even on this, the way that he drew like the faces. This looks more like an American traditional tattoo more than anything else.
It does, like something that was painted on the side of a fighter plane during World War II, right?
Yep.
Like, has that feeling to it. All right, moving on to number 3. All right, so this is really awesome. I love this one specifically, I think, because, and Ben said it in his article as well, the exact same reason. This shows a strong woman, not oh, help me, I'm in distress kind of woman. I need help. This is a very superheroine kind of a feel. It's got amazing power and movement to it. Really great lines. Everything sort of along that same diagonal. Well, obviously we're in this different angles here, but that same diagonal. Everything's got that focus up into the corner. This is just a gorgeous cover. I mean, this is not one that I was actually familiar with until I saw the list. The other ones this one I wasn't. And again, this is one that I don't see pop up very often. That white cover's got to be a real pain.
Oh, absolutely.
To get in decent shape. But I love the strength of this character. For those who like characters like Wonder Woman and really any of the sort of really strong female characters, this one should speak to you, I would assume. But yeah, this is a big one.
It's just exciting Comics 66. I don't know if that's a phoenix she's riding or what kind of bird that is, but
it kind of looks like it, right? And with all the, I like this is a refreshing book. That Ben said the same thing in the article. It's a refreshing book in that there's so much bondage going on during these good girl sort of cover this whole era that it's nice to see one that isn't. I mean, I don't know how else to put it, but it's nice to actually see something just a little bit different for once. But I really love this one. This is really cool. The next one is sort of back to the style that you'd expect, but not war. And while this is terrific comics number 5. And essentially we're talking about airbrushed covers overall in general, but this one obviously is not. This has got the regular sort of inked line work with regular color kind of thing. But again, classic red dress distress, and
right.
and it's just a top cover from him that isn't war. Stands out. I mean, look, there's all kinds of crazy things going on here. You got just the ever so slightly extra sexiness of like her dress kind of falling off her shoulder. But then, man, there's all kinds of torture devices and dudes screaming, and you got a Klan member up there in the corner with a gun.
Klan member down here on the throne or whatever this is, and this dude's got fangs. I don't even know if this guy's human. This looks like the wheel in Temple of Doom. We got Yellow Pants guy up here.
I mean, there. I don't know what. Look, maybe this is just me, and maybe I'm sort of off my rocker, but I don't know what else you'd be looking for in a Golden Age cover that you can't find on this cover. Like, if you don't like this cover, I don't know what you're looking for. I want to know. I want you to write into the comments, what is it that you want instead? Because I can't, unless it's a Captain America #1 or something like that. But otherwise,
it's missing a skull. That's what it doesn't have. It doesn't have a skull.
Yeah, there's no skull. I'm sorry, you're absolutely right. No skull.
I was just looking. Maybe there's one in here somewhere, but that's it.
But
that's
probably it. That is probably it. It's these bright colors. It's missing Hitler. Yeah, I guess that's true. So the war covers, for those that don't collect this stuff, war covers that have Hitler or Nazis generally go for more. They're more sought after, especially if they're getting their butts kicked by Cap or by somebody. That's usually a big thing. There's also the Miss Fury covers have a couple of Nazi covers as well. So those are big on the market as well. We're talking about a kind of a different market here. The good girl collectors market tends to focus around. After it focuses around a couple of artists, Schomburg being one of them, and Baker and a couple of others, Doolin and Kamen and some of those guys, it goes more towards titles. There's sort of runs of books that have great good girl covers sort of all in a row. And there's collectors that just collect that stuff. Then, of course, there are collectors who collect just Nazi covers or just war covers or just Captain America or really any Golden Age superhero, girl or boy. But I mean, these, as far as the good girl sort of women covers, these there's really nothing like these. And this, again, while this one isn't airbrushed, it definitely deserves to be on this list. It's so great. But yeah, I mean, again, popping color, yellows and reds, a lot of blue in there to contrast it. And while it's busy, it doesn't feel cluttered somehow. It still feels like it's laid out nicely.
Yeah. It's still properly spaced. There's not a lot of dead space in the sense that it's just filler background. Everything looks like it belongs where it is.
Right. Yep. All right, moving on to the prime suspect, #1.
Top dog here.
Top dog, and this really is the top dog. I mean, this is for those that know these covers and they think airbrushed Schomburg or Zila covers, then this is the one that comes to mind. This is affectionately known as the Bender cover. For those of you that watch Futurama, you know why that is. But I mean, this is the one, right? I mean, this is iconic for a lot of people that don't even know comics. Like, I know people that would recognize this image anyway, and not know where it came from and not know who drew it or any of that stuff. But I mean, this again has red dress distress. We get robots, really bright, crisp lines and color. There's just a beautiful fluidity to it. I mean, there's really not a whole lot wrong with it. I mean, it's obviously way, way over the top cheese. But I mean, let's face it, we're talking about Golden Age comics here. That was the way these things went. But I mean, do you by any chance have a year on this one?
Let's see if
we can get a year on it.
I can get it.
Yeah, let's get it. I'm just curious about the year on this. Ben would know, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I should know. So for those that aren't aware, also while Peter's looking that up, we just sort of figured this out. We didn't realize that Schomburg is originally Puerto Rican, born in Puerto Rico, with his full name being, let me make sure I get this correct and not mess it up. It is, where are we here? Alessandro Schomburg y Rosa. Born in 1905, died in 1998 at age 92. And of course, pseudonyms being
in 1948.
1948. Okay, so I mean, they're mostly amazing. I mean, just post-war. All these are right around that same era, but that they all have kind of that like painted on a side of a fighter plane kind of a feel to them. All the girls do anyway, and I think that there's probably a pretty big appeal for that as well. But I mean, this book is classic. You're not going to find this one cheap. Current copies. Let me see if I can see what's available right now, just to give people an idea of what this one might run you. Because, like I said, the other ones can be gotten for a few $100 in lower grades, lower grades. But this one really can't be.
No, and while you're looking it up, and it's not just the girls with the colors popping. I mean, you look at that background. We got the pink mountain range back there that just kind of offset with the blue sky, and you got this Adam Strange looking guy. I don't know if that's an orange or a tan, but kind of has an orange pop to it. This little jumpsuit he's rocking.
There are currently no copies for sale, as far as I can see. These are all really rare. Keep in mind. Yeah. There's some replicas have sold, but I honestly don't know what the last copy of this sold for. But it is not a cheap book. It is definitely a classic cover. I mean, they're all technically considered classic covers, but this one is up there with classic covers of all time from any genre.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you got all sorts of crazy stuff going. Like you said, the pink mountain range is crazy. But those colors, man, there was. I mean, I can't think of anything that was like this, man, until the modern age, really, until recently. That kind of has this eye appeal to them. So I see why people really, really go nuts over these. I've never seen a copy of this in person at any con or in a shop. I don't know that I ever will. Some of these books are really, really tough to get.
Never know.
Kent says, this reminds me of classic sci-fi television. Yeah, and I think that's exactly what the impetus was behind this cover. And it's exactly what it's trying to be. But it's great. The metal tones on the robot are incredible. Yeah. Just the whole thing is just great. Now, moving into the last book, which is our sort of honorable mention, our runner-up, if you will, the one that didn't make the list. There's no reason why you shouldn't try to get this next one. It's not any worse. It's maybe even better cover than some of the others. I mean, underwater covers are amazing. The greens are unbelievable. I know a couple guys that collect shark covers.
Shark covers.
You know who you are, shark cover collectors. So you got that here too. Again, you got sort of the strong woman thing going on rather than distressed, please help me, oh God, oh no, kind of thing going on. Just as sought after as any of the non-number ones, and probably still gettable for a couple of $100 in again, I'm talking about in lower grades. When you start up and get up into the higher grades, you're going to get to the $500,000-$700,000 range real quick. Just like any Golden Age book, it's going to be like that. So
no, exactly.
These are Andy in the house. What's up, Andy? Thanks for joining us. So yeah, but again, blues and greens and some cool covers. And also we should note too that not every one of these covers is signed. The number 5, which was the first one that we showed, the bondage cover that we showed, that's signed. So the Exciting Comic 62 is signed on the bottom. Zila, where you can see, where his little arrow is. Then the next one,
it's down in her feet. It might be kind of hard to see, but it is down here in the shadows on the desk here.
Yep. So that Wonder Comics is signed. The next one, I believe, is not signed. Not that we could find anyway.
Yeah, we couldn't find it.
It's possibly signed the artwork underneath that panel of yellow with the red words there. It's possible it's down in there, but I couldn't find a signature on this one, but this is definitely Schomburg. Then the next one also, I believe, was not signed. At least not that we could find in that mess anywhere. The number 1 is signed.
And that is right down here in the water.
Yep. And then so is the honorable mention, also signed. Way down there on the very, very bottom left.
Oh, there.
You just see the
picture kind of cuts
the edge of it. Yeah, just kind of cuts it off. I don't know if the cover itself cuts it off or if just the photo that we chose does. But again, not to belabor the point, but I mean, there's just these covers are like nothing else. If you're a good girl collector or if you're a Schomburg collector, this is again a small niche. There are not that many covers. There's a few others that we didn't show that are also beautiful. So do a little digging, and you're going to find some other great ones that might not cost you quite as much. These 5 or 6 are definitely the more sought after of the sort of the bunch of them. But this is these are great examples, and you can get yourself in. I know that the worry for a lot of new Golden Age collectors is that they can't afford it. And so I don't think you should worry about that in this case. I think these are attainable. You may have to move a book or two to get one, but they're definitely there. So I'm in love with them. I can't wait to try to snag a few more. I'm going to do my best anyway. So
well, you're on your way.
And that's the list for the week. Peter, what are your feelings on these?
Well, I feel like a spectator just standing at the glass, just kind of looking in the window. Like, I want to play, but not yet. That's how I feel mostly about a lot of the Golden Age. Is I love this stuff, but I'm knowing myself. I have a compulsive personality, so once I start, like I'm in. So I don't think I'm ready to start because I feel I'm skipping some steps. I still have a couple of bronze and coppers I want to get in my PC first. There's Silver Age. I know I don't have to, and if I were to find these books, that's the other thing, the availability. I don't see these books at the shops near me. If I did, then Price is Right. I'm grabbing it, regardless of plans or opportunity presents itself. You have to move. Like there's not really a lot of debate when it comes to like a lot of books like this. If you see them, if you're lucky enough to see them, and you have it, buy that instead of the stack of new releases you're going to get that week. Like, who cares about the whatever the new character is that you might be able to flip for a couple of bucks? Put your money towards something that's just lasting value in your collection, because you can always get those other books later, possibly in a dollar bin, because new releases are easy to come by. This stuff really isn't, and I think that's another reason why I agree. Going. It's just I don't know if I'm ready for the hunt once I get obsessed with things, because again, I can be obsessive once I put my target on something.
And I'm the same way, and I did the same. Yeah, totally. And I did the same thing before I got into Golden Age. And I'm still just kind of dipping my toes in right now. I'm definitely not in hardcore, because you could go down for some serious money real fast and then turn around and look and say, why did I buy any of this stuff? I mean, I think this is really more of a buy what you love kind of a thing. Stuff that you don't mind, that you will want in your collection for a long time, or that you'll pass along to somebody else. The flippability of this stuff is big, but you have a really volatile sort of group of people who are looking for some of these small niches. And unless you're in the right spot, it's going to be tough to just, it's not going to move like, say, Ahsoka Tano books are moving today, or something that's super hot. This is more of a slow burn. And you're right. You definitely have to be a little bit more deliberate about what you choose. But I focused in on just the 2 or 3 things that I wanted. And I researched the crap out of those things. And then I just went hardcore at them and said, well, this is my price limit, and I am not going to go beyond that price limit. I'm going to get those few books at that price limit, or I'm not going to ever own them, and that's fine. So, but these are definitely on my radar. They're still affordable to a degree. They're not $20, $50 books. They're going to be a couple $100, but still, they're out there and they're gettable. So, so check out the list for a little bit more
chunk of money, but it's still, like you said, it's something we could do. Like a couple $100, it's money, and no one's just trying to discount what it is, but when you compare what somebody will spend a couple $100 on in today's market, I don't want to harp on the point of just don't buy new releases. Maybe look towards these, but a lot of these store variants that comes out, yes, you can buy a store variant set for $150 and get 3 covers, and maybe you like them a lot. Maybe you try to flip one to keep the other 2, whatever your plan is. But you could take that $150 and put it into something a little more off the beaten path, and something that may cause you a little bit more happiness down the line, as opposed to when you're digging in the box in 7 months and you go, what is this? Where did I get this book from?
The other thing too is these are also so rare. There's always somebody looking for it. So if you choose to sell it somewhere down the road, there's a buyer for the book. They're just, they don't pop up. So, whereas the modern books, they're going to pop up. Hundreds of copies of them are going to pop up. What's the lowest print run on a modern? 250 copies, 500 copies, and they're all on eBay.
Yeah.
So these, like, I just looked up a couple of these, and there isn't a single copy of one of these Schomburgs on eBay at all right now to buy. Not that eBay is the only place to buy your comics, but still, it's a good indication that they're just not out there.
Yeah, because availability.
So like Peter said,
with these. Because
when you see them and if you think you can afford them, come home with them.
Absolutely.
So that's our list for the week. Yeah. You can always go back and rebuy those other books. But that's our list for the week. Go check out CBSI for that article, as well as plenty of other content. You got Peter's Dollar Bin Digging. I do cover tunes every week. There's Topher's True Firsts. You got Fisherman's Tale with Chris Nelms. You've got obviously the Hot 10 every Friday from our very own Ben Stein, and a variety of many others. AJ Diesel's Diesel City Dreams is a great read if you're not up on that one too. But I mean, we've got new content and contests and all kinds of things going. And then on the Flipside channel, we've got content for you every single day. From Monday's main podcast, Tales from the Flipside, all the way through the week. We've got something for you every night. So keep on coming back, where we just love to talk and nerd out and get into some funny books. Thanks a lot for listening, guys, and for being in the chat. We really appreciate that. Thanks again.